research and innovation practices. Let us just is my PPT is moving.
Slide, browser.
Yeah, I think it takes some time switching time. Okay, I think I am also visible now, so that it will be
Yes,
interactive.
yes. Yes, brother.
Okay, I think yeah. Okay, yeah. So please confirm. The reason is I am not able to see parallelly the not. So on and off, I used to request the participants to please confirm orally whether the presentation is visible.
Presentation is visible, browser. Presentation is visible.
It's visible. Okay, thank you very much for the confirmation. Yeah, I just made the presentation in an interactive way. Let's make this session interactive and collaborative. Participants to post your doubts, ideas, or reflections in the chat box at any time. And I also encourage the participants to respond to the questions of your peers. If whenever anybody asks a question in the chat, and don't wait for my answer, and you can also respond with your answers. And I request you to please be ready with your mobile and or the desktop, whichever is available and then feasible for you. Just keep it ready. So since we have a few live prompt engineering practice sessions and alongside this discussion, and see together, let us share participation will make the learning deeper, richer, and more practical. More practical if you just follow the basic things which I requested here. Yeah, before I go into the actual prompt engineering, let me just have uh, a, a brief discussion about the backbone of the prompt engineering called large language models. And if anybody is large language models, and if anybody is very new practices, so and if anybody is very new practices, so in that context, large language models are AI systems trained on a vast amount of data, enabling them to perform a wide range of language centric and reasoning tasks. Yeah. So and then there are different, see, I don't want to spend much time on the introduction of the LLMs and then chat gpt, so because it's a third day session. So professor, can I consider the introduction of all the chat gpt and LLMs were covered in the previous two sessions?
For last, it is work like that, browser.
Okay, because I don't want to just repeat the content or the same topic. So I just
Yes, yes.
wanted to make it dynamic. That is the reason why I'm just requesting the participants to share your level of knowledge on this topic so that I can be more dynamic onto it. So coming to different ways to build the LLMs, as you all know, the LLM models can be built from the scratch, which we call them as a foundation models. And then prompt engineering is also one of the way how you empower the LLMs. Instead of you build the LLM and you empower the LLM using prompt engineering, and you have a RAG, retrieval augmented generation model that works in two phases. One is a retrieval engine, and that retrieves the relevant information from the repository and that relevant information will be fed to the LLM, pre-trained LLM. So where the LLM will generate the response. That's how RAG models are always localized to the domains, depends upon the corpus and then databases. So it's very easy to build the RAGs when you are having the domain specific knowledge and then repositories. And coming to the fine tuning and pre-training LLMs, as we all know, so the LLMs are already trained on vast amount of data. So when it is impossible to train every time, we all understand, because it is a computationally expensive and time consuming and time taking process. So in that aspect, so whenever you wanted to tone up the knowledge of the LLMs and with the new data, So what you do is you just use the pre-trained LLMs, and then on top of it you give the tone up training, and then that what we called as a fine tuning a pre-trained LLMs. And agentic AI, as you know, the agentic AIs are nothing but the application specific models, and then where you for your own subject also you can build your own agentic AI. When you can able to just take the APIs of the LLM models and then integrate to your applications. And of course, these are not limited. There are many multimodal LLMs works on the different types of media. Could it be combination of the text, audio, video, graphics, animation? So you name anything, the the data. So when you have more than one kind of one type of data used to train the LLMs, we call it as a multimodal. So let us see the capabilities of LLM. So unless you understand the capabilities of LLM, it is a little bit cumbersome to understand the prompt engineering. So you see the capabilities of LLMs are not limited, but these are only abstract. A few I just gave. The text understanding and comprehension. So when it comes to text understanding, I mean to say it is a natural language understanding, because see, now we are talking about LLMs, large language models. When I say language, it's a natural language, no doubt. So natural language mean to say it is a language like English, Tamil, Telugu, or any human speaking language are called natural languages. So your LLMs just understand the text and then give you the summarizations or the comprehensions. So, but the limitation is it can understand the text, but their output quality depends on heavily on how clearly you ask the questions or provide the context. Okay, it depends upon the way you ask the questions, and then the context you provide, right? The response will depends. So the next kind of I mean LLMs applications falls under text generation and then communication. See, the text understanding is the machine, I mean LLMs will understand the natural language understanding, whereas when it comes to generation, it's completely generating the responses in, again, natural languages and communicate. So here the applications of this kind can generate text, but outputs may lack relevance and then tone. Of course, I'll explain you what is relevance, what is tone, what is structure and all. But due to lack of relevance, tone, and structure, so they may sometimes fail to generate the proper and accurate text as you are intended for. So the kinds of applications that use a multimodal and then cross-domain applications, as I already told you, excuse me. So multimodal LLMs so are more than one type of data. Would it be a text, images, audio, video, and graphics, animations, or you name any a type of data, including codes, right? So, but in this case, the context, along with the context, the you need to be very precise in terms of building the inputs called prompt. So that's the biggest challenge here in these kind of applications, because you deal with the different type of data and also cross domain capabilities. When you say cross domain, you at a time you can build with the image applications and then text. So when you consider the healthcare domain, so it's little difficult to handle the two. One is a code mixed a text, one is a images of not natural but completely MRI or X-rays or the high spectral images. So when it comes to reasoning and problem solving, this is quite regularly used kind of applications in LLMs. So it's a greatest capability of LLMs. I'll also tell you what kind of LLMs are available for these. So LLMs may give approximate or surface level reasoning unless you guide, right? So then reasoning and problem solving depends upon how you understand and then fed the information to it to understand. See, when you just see the applications of LLM, only few, but under the applications, if you see the bigger picture, let me divide them into models and then applications directly. So models mean to say these are not directly available to use. Okay, so these are built, LMs are built on top of them, we can use. See, you can see OpenAI as the latest its LLM is ChatGPT 5.1. And see, the purpose of this is it's for a strong reasoning and generation, right? You can see Cloud 4.5, which focus on safety, long context, structured task kind of thing. If you take a Gemini, Google's Gemini, so it also takes the not only large context, but it also works on the multimodal AI systems, right? And Meta, which is available in your WhatsApp, which uses the Llama LLM, so which is scalable open variants. So you can see the multiple and multimodal things works, and which is also open source. So you can just take the APIs and then integrate into your applications. So Mistral AI is also highly available. I mean, one of the open source model that can be used on high performance applications. So when you comes to the tools, see, when you come to the tools, you see the coding tools. I mean, you see here the GitHub Copilot, a cursor, okay, Codelia. There are so many kind of LLMs built. Okay, these are not the LLMs directly. These are actually tools that are built on top of the LLMs. So they are specific. So now you see, general. That is the reason why you see here search. For search, generally we use a Perplexity, Bing, Copilot, whereas for the general purpose we use a Chat GPT. Okay, Claudia and Grok or things. These two are not same. When you see the when you use the Perplexity, you'll get a lot of references, but when you use a Chat GPT, it generates. Okay, so now you can see that that's the reason why the one doesn't fit for all the applications. So when you go for writing kind of news articles or stories, okay, editorial columns, so that always use these tools like Notion AI, Grammarly, Jasper. There are many, but these are popular, particularly in the context of Indian usage. So for the research, you can use for summarizations, for finding the insights, you can use Elicit or Cite or Chat PDF. And productivity, so when I say productivity, like a CRM, okay, CRM applications, for those kind of applications you can use Microsoft Copilot, which helps you to build the modules for building your applications. So software, I can simply say. For the design purpose, you can use Canva. Most of us are using Canva regularly to design our not only posters and then the banners. It's also for diagrams. It's also for even planning and all. But Gamma, see, this PPT is one of the outcome of the Gamma which I use to generate the PPT. Of course, I just uh, gave the content and curated for the context of this particular session. So, and you see, we have a 10 web IO, so you don't need any technical knowledge to develop a website. Okay, so you can just go through it and once see. So these are the major applications that we have uh, in different domains. Now we understand the behind the curtain there is a big uh, model called as a LLM, large language model, built using a huge data, okay, and millions and trillions of parameters. Now it's 1.2 trillion parameters being used to build the Chat GPT 5.1, I think. So, and Chat GPT 3.5 is about 175 billion parameters. Okay, that is a different story. But you can understand it's not that easy to demystify. Okay, so the accuracy or correctness of the output from these LLMs depends on the goodness, correctness, or the details of the prompt that you give. That's very important. We focus on goodness, correctness, and the details of the prompt. So your entire performance depends upon these three. We'll see how we can address them, right? Excuse me. So am I audible?
Yes, Professor. Go ahead, Professor.
Okay, right. So in other words, you can see input prompt to an LLM must be engineered to obtain output that is closer to the desired outcome. So to the expected levels of response, then you need to engineer your prompt. So that is the majorly thing where we focus, right? It's not just writing. Okay, anybody can write, anybody can speak, but there is a lot to implement inside writing and then speaking, right? So how you use your grammar in order to structure your sentences, the same way you have to use a lot of engineering techniques to shape your prompts, so that that is called as a prompt engineering. Anyhow, we'll see it. So understanding how to structure prompts effectively along with the choosing the best learning approach are key skills for maximizing LLM output quality. This is our objective. Our objective of the entire session is only to understand how to structure prompts effectively along with choosing the best learning approaches. Okay, these are the key skills for maximizing LLM output quality. Okay, so that's the reason why you can simply say, I can simply conclude like this: prompt engineering is the key to unlocking the full potential of LLMs across their capabilities. We have seen so many capabilities, no? So in order to, I mean, unlock the all potentials of the all such okay capabilities, to acquire all capabilities, you can go for the prompt engineering. You just, if you see in abstract, so prompt is nothing but a question or a query. So kids ask us a question, so we have irrespective of all, they just ask a question. If we can see, our responses will depends upon two factors. Okay, one is how well we are trained or experienced. The second one is how well the question is asked. Sometimes the person may be too knowledgeable, but they don't understand the question itself. You see in the sessions also, sometimes when we put a question to the speaker, the experts, they don't understand the question, right? So even asking question itself is a skill. So that's what a prompt is: the input instruction given to a large language model that tells it what to do, how to do it, and in what form to respond. This is the prompt. So I can simply say a prompt is how human communicate their intent to an AI model. It's very important because AI is not a human, right? It's a machine. So prompts. Okay, so this is a simple prompts. Okay, so this is a simple diagram that see where the user is the, we are the users, and then we write some query, so that is considered as a prompt, and which is fed to the LLM. So LLM will respond accordingly. So it looks like a black box. Excuse me. Screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Just a minute. Yes, it is popping up sometimes onto my screen. Okay. Now, why prompt engineering for educators? Okay, that is the general story. What I spoke so far, right? But let us come to our story now. So, why prompt engineering for educators like you and me? Right? These are the things. These are the reasons why we need to be good at prompt engineering. So, we all know, from rote learning to thinking skills, and to improve the teaching efficiency, to address the teachers workload at a scale. I'll also address that. Okay, we have to be stay relevant paradigm, and then enhances the student learning, promotes critical thinking. It's very important. It's not just question and answer, you just ask and then respond from the textbook which is already printed, but it's not like that. So supports a personalized learning, and supports a multilingual and diverse learning, right? It encourages ethical and responsible AI usage, and democratizing the quality education, which is one of the very, very important factor that we all need to consider. Prepare students for the future and gives the educators control over AI output. These are only few, but there are many advantages. There are many factors why we are supposed to embrace the good prompt engineering into our day-to-day life work. So it directly supports OBE. See, because I just wanted to link, since most of the educators join this session. So provides a greater support for outcome-based education and help educators upskill in teaching, assessment, accreditation, and research capabilities. That's the reason why prompt engineering is one of the important skill required by every faculty, irrespective of the branches, and then whether you are a technical teacher or non-technical teacher. So everybody must embrace this into their day-to-day teaching and learning practices. Yeah. See, so we have seen what is a prompt. Now let us see the prompt engineering. See, when you observe, prompt engineering is also a skill, I said in the previous slide, right? So I mean to say it's a kind of art and science of crafting clear, precise instructions to get a useful, actionable responses from LLMs, right? It's about knowing what to ask and how to ask LLMs, right? So for educators like you and me, the skill unlocks the unprecedented opportunities to save time, personalized learning experiences, enhance student engagement in a way that were not possible before. So earlier it was little tough. Now, if you embrace these, it becomes very easy, and then see time saving practice. So prompt engineering is the practice of crafting the inputs in a structured and intentional way to maximize the performance of the large language models for a given task. So there are so many definitions. I just pull few of them for our understanding, right? Now let us go and see how these prompts makes a difference. Now let us see the power of well-crafted. So usually, is it fine if I take a DBMS subject as a reference throughout my explanation? As any non-computer science, you just forget about the subject. Okay, I just thought of the most of the participants will know basics of the DBMS or terminology, not the subject I am talking about. So it is more relevant for the people to understand. All right. Okay, if you say yes, you can just say yes in chat. Is it fine? Can I go with this example, or can I take any other examples?
Okay, sir, you can go ahead. So this one.
Okay, okay, right. So now you can see the difference between a vague prompt and a specific one, between wasted time and then transformative results. Let's see this in action. See, you can observe here vague prompt is on normalization. Okay, so now here you can see the result will be very generic, unfocused output that requires extensive editing and rarely meets your specific classroom needs. So what happens if you just give like that? It just dumps the information. Then again you have to spend a lot of time to curate it, to edit it, and then make your own align to align to Bloom's taxonomy and real world database design examples, active learning activity. That's what is think, pair, share, kind of case studies, SQL based illustration, assessment questions. I'm also mentioning what kind of assessment questions. 2 marks. I mean, two multiple choice questions, one short answer, and one problem. Okay, so teaching. See, my query, see, I already ran these, prompts to save the time. See, help me with a DBMS course lesson plan. Now you can see my response I got from ChatGPT is this. Okay, so I got the course objectives, course outcomes, and week-wise lesson plan. Okay, database architecture. So I got so many things, but I was talking about element on the ground, right? I didn't mention BCNF, but it's still, yeah, the BCNF also. Okay, so now you see, I was not asking even any properties, but it is asking, talking about the transactions. I say acid properties. Okay, atomicity, I mean consistency. Yeah. Am I missing? Okay. Yeah. Right. So is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Now you observe. Then I am going.
Sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Now you observe. Then I am going to give the second prompt. Okay. This specific prompt. So you can observe the result is completely curated. Now you can see 90 minutes lesson plan normalization. It's very specific. Okay. So one normal form, two normal form, three NF. And I also mentioned, okay, clearly mentioned it's a 90 minutes lesson plan for DBMS course for BTech second years, to whom also I just mentioned, right? And I also mentioned what boundary of the normal form. Okay, 1NF to 3NF. I also mentioned the more context. Okay, so now you can see more details I gave. Now you can see, now here you can observe C was also defined, but earlier the C was were not defined, because I mentioned here Bloom's taxonomy. You can observe first one, course outcomes aligned to Bloom's taxonomy. Here you can observe it also gave the COs, okay, for this topic only, and also mentioned the particular course outcomes, right? And also Bloom's level. 90 minutes break. It's also organized my time, 4 to 10 minutes what I need to teach. I want to explain this 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF because it's not our take here. Okay. Now you can see I also asked it SQL based illustration. Now you can see not only just that, but in 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF, it also gave me the schemas, right? So which follows the first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, right? Now you can see assessment questions I asked it. Right now you can see MCQs. I asked exactly two. It gave me two multiple choice questions with the answers, right? Now short answers. Define normalization and list any two advantages. And it gave me the question, right? Problem questions. Okay. So now you can see. Now, since I asked it to give even a bigger problem statement, so it also gave the problem or problem solving question. Okay, now you can see tools I also requested. So what are the tools I can use to teach it? I can use whiteboard. I can use a DB tool, database tools like MySQL or Oracle kind of thing. It gave only few examples, PostgreSQL. Okay, and Ksheet also it gave me. So one of the tool. Okay, so now you can see, and also assignments. Right now, see just the same prompt, but I gave in a different structure. Now we have completely changed the response. Now, do you agree with me now? Is the prompt engineering is very, very important. It saves a lot of time. Okay, if you don't give a proper prompt, you'll waste a lot of time on editing and curating. So the takeaway is specificity transforms AI from a rough draft generation into a genuine teaching partner. Now I believe this LLM is my LLM, and prompt engineering is co-partner of my teaching? Of course, yes. Yeah, don't be scared. A is not a replacing teachers, but believe teachers who use AI will replace those who don't use. So this situation will come definitely, and those who are good at using AI tools in their teaching learning practices will definitely replace the teachers who don't embrace these changes and then use in their day-to-day life, day-to-day teaching learning practices. Now let us see the levels of prompting. I just gave only one, but if you by just using few more details into my prompt. So subject I mentioned, which is normalization in DBMS, right? That is subject identification. Topic, I just made my topic very clear now, right? So, but still few more things are not very clear now, right? So, but still few more things are not addressed. What are they? Which level? I didn't mention to whom it is. Time, how much duration? I didn't mention. Okay. I didn't mention learning outcomes and teaching strategies, the PP or whatever it may be. Right. So these are missing in this kind, right? So these are missing in this kind of prompt. But when you come to level 2, so now you can observe orientation. So I just mentioned at the last, you can see with clearly defined course outcomes aligned to Bloom's taxonomy. Both I just outcomes aligned to Bloom's taxonomy. Both I just mentioned at the end. Right? Missing. Active learning is missing. Practical illustration, I did not mention SQL, right? Okay. Tools and assessments, these are also missing. Okay. DB tools and then assessments like questions, kinds of questions, these are missing, right? Now when you come to pedagogy driven prompt, now you can missing, right? Now when you come to pedagogy driven prompt, now you can observe here I just mentioned active learning introduced, application focus. Still I did not mention to give a SQL examples, questions and teaching tools. When it comes to practical oriented prompts, now I just mentioned here in my prompt, I just mentioned SQL based illustration, okay, which is also a practical relevance, right? But a few more details are missing to generate the assessment questions. Now you see at the end, fully engineered prompt, okay? So high control, reusable, institutional ready. Right now you can see generally writing a big prompts is not good, but actually it is good. Generally the impression of the human being is we should be very simple. No, we should be, instead of simple, it should be more detailed, structured, okay, context oriented. Then your LLM will understand exactly what you are expecting. Okay, but you have seen almost 8 different ways how the vague prompt, okay, will take a transformation to fully engineered prompt. Okay, so these levels will make the lot of transformations, adding the details I've shown you. But how do you know? This one question I gave an example. So this is a general practice, but we have to learn like a standard. So that standard we'll see how it will be. Now once you learn this, everybody will able to just save you a lot of time using your uh, LLMs. Okay, now let us see a few of the prompt engineering. Okay, so for a prompt engineering, as I told you, the capabilities and then applications, and we have enormous number of capabilities and then many applications are available. So for which to use LLMs, you don't need any technical knowledge, but you need a little bit of knowledge and prompt engineering to make it really useful for your requirements. So your pros are these are the advantages. You don't need any technical knowledge, and you don't need to train any models, okay, because we run on only pre-trained models. Okay, so you don't need any additional data set. Okay, and then you don't need any additional computing resources to run the training and the models, and then it's very minimal cost. The cost is very, if you have a tools you can just use, and then you can integrate API. You can just purchase a small application, I mean API, and then you can just integrate into your application. That's all you for amount to buy the platforms and then integrate into your application. You means maybe you are in an industry, right? But cons, these are very, very important because inconsistent. So why it is inconsistent? LLMs keep evolving. We don't know what is inside, how they were built, right? So hallucination, it goes a lot of imaginations, right? So unless you very less information fit in, and you have a limitation, number of characters and number of words to write a prompt is limited. You cannot give pages of, okay, I mean multiple pages of prompts to your LLMs, and not up to date, of course. So these are the cons that the prompt engineering is facing at this junction. So before I go to how we are going to build a prompt engineering using different techniques, so you need to set up the environment to use in your applications, right? Instead of I just uh, talk about only these, that and all, which is already available on the web. So some of the few of the practical uh, applications that the prompt engineering can be used into your regular applications. See, if you are okay, then now you can observe. Uh, you can use open Google Colab. If somebody is interested, you can do this, right? So before using any, particularly ChatGPT, I'm talking about, because this FDP is majorly focusing on ChatGPT. Instead of taking the other LLMs, I just focus on ChatGPT, which is developed by OpenAI. Now, I just wanted to integrate ChatGPT into my application. Okay, my notebook. You can use your own in-house notebook like Anaconda Navigator, and then you can open it and then set up the environment, or you can use the Google Colab. So, but I use Google Colab here. So initially just open the Google Colab and create a new Jupyter notebook, right? And then get OpenAI key from platform.openai.com. If you don't have an account, you open it. It is providing free for some credits, I think. You can use it. Okay, so platform.openai.com, right? When you open it, then you will get this kind of a environment. Let me just show you a one platform. See, this is which I already logged into it. You're supposed to log in, right? So once you log in platform.openai.com, you'll get this kind of a interface. Now you can see here, right? So how to set up, no? So I wanted to use this as an API to my app. Okay, so for which you need to set the API key. Okay, so you just mention here API keys, right? When I just click on API keys, I already created API key here. So if you want, you can create one more. So just create key here. So what I'm naming it is, so you have to be very cautious in naming the keys. Let me call it the Open AI. Okay. Let me check what I named it. Open API key. So Open API key, right? and then default project. If you create any project, a specific project that you can use, I'm just creating it. Now you observe, you have to copy it, which is a secret. You are not supposed to share it. Okay, you are not supposed to share it, and then just done. That's all. You have to use this into your notebook. Let me show you how I used it. Actually, which I tried to run. So what you are supposed to do is, first you are supposed to run your uh, you don't need a much programming knowledge. It's only just interfacing. You just can blindly follow this. Okay, so instead of you directly copy, you can also create a separate file. That is up to you, but otherwise it's okay. So you have to import OpenAI, which is available, right? Import OpenAI and then run it. Otherwise you have to install. Okay, if it is not there, what you are supposed to do is you have to install using a pip install OpenAI, and then so OpenAI is not directly available, then I just use it 0.28. So you can observe. Then these are normal things that I'm not about to discuss all of these things, but these are helpful only to just load either you can use a file or directly use it. It's up to you. But now you can observe here. So now what I'm doing is I am setting this OpenAI key, okay, with my key which I already defined. So this OpenAI key is which I already defined here. You can observe. Okay. So now you can see from google.colab import user data, right? So the one of the important point you all need to remember is, first you have to set that key. You have copied that key, no? So where is the key? This key I already copied from here. That key you have to set in the secrets. So you just go to secrets. So secret is one of the icons in the left side. Okay, you can observe the search bar, code bar. Okay, you have to click on the secrets. Here you observe, which I already set. Okay, so here's a notebook access. If you don't allow it, okay, if you don't make it a tick, then it will ask you when you run from the notebook file. It will ask you the permission. That's what I am making it available access. Now this is the name of the, okay, name of the key is, secret key is open AI API key. And now this is a, okay, this is the key which you are supposed to paste. That's it. That's all. This environment is set for you to use. So once you do this, and what you are supposed to do is simply use it. Now you are ready to use, because I already set, okay, so into environment variables. Now my environment variable secret key is available for me to use in my application. Now OpenAI key user data.get, OpenAI API key is a name. Then now you can see simply I just import OpenAI. So initially you may not be able to run this OpenAI API unless you install the pip install OpenAI. Okay, so and then the model which I am using is GPT 4o mini. But see, it depends which model you use, because GPT has so many models, right? Right now you can see different roles. Yeah, so these things you will understand. These things you will understand once I discuss about the important what I mean to say, techniques and then components. Okay, so this is how you are supposed to just set up. Just for this moment, just observe. You don't worry much, because I'll provide this data, I mean these files, and then this PPT to you. It's only self-explanatory content available for you to just follow and then make your applications ready and use. For suppose here you can observe here the message is always like now JSON file, and the model which I use is GPT model. Okay, model is equal, this is the model variable. Now now we can observe, so chart.completion.create model which I am using is GPT 4o mini, and messages which I defined here. So in message now you can observe the role, because I have not explained it, what is a role, what is content. Okay, what is task and all. So as of now, you just remember role is the role of the person, okay, who is building this prompt. Okay, I just gave you the prompt as a teacher, okay, for the students, okay, as a system, right, as an assistant of the system, like which role it is. Okay, now content is this set the task, tell me a joke. Okay, tell me a joke. So now these two are the messages. Now what happened, I'll just it returns the response. It connects to GPT-4G mini directly, and then this will send the message as a prompt. Okay, this is the structure of the prompt now. So that will go as a prompt, and it takes the response into response variable. I'm just printing it. Now you can see my message. Why don't skeleton fight each other? Is the joke. They don't have the guts. Okay, so whether you get a laugh or not, it's the joke which is given by your GPT through a prompt. So if you wanted to improve it, okay, you can always do that. So you can also increase the levels of prompting. That's what I discussed at 7 levels with a different ways of writing the messages. So that anyhow you'll understand once I complete this. Let me continue this. So now you understand why the setting up environment is important for you to use OpenAI into your uh, notebook file and then application, right? So yeah, uh, sir, how much time I have, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, okay, great. So are you with me? I mean, are you able to follow, or since it's an online
Yes,
session?
sir. We will
uh,
try, sir. We will try.
huh, okay. So because I know it's not like the general theory of prompt engineering I'm teaching, but I just wanted the people to take advantage of this, practical and then useful session. Because I know most of the IT and CSC allied branch faculty join the session, so it will benefit definitely the teachers who are more interested on prompt engineering into their applications. Not only, but any person. It need not be one technically techie savvy to use these applications, build applications. There is no much code, only setting the environment, right? Now this is how you do it, which I already explained. I just kept the screens. I just made my key invisible because it's once it is open, anybody can use it. All right. Of course, I can delete, but because the credits, because I bought it. Okay. So prompt engineering with the Chat GPT API, what we have seen so far. Not only this, so in the previous example, we have seen only one response, right? But what if I wanted to use my response as a prompt, and again second response as a third prompt, response as a fourth prompt? Usually, these LLMs doesn't remember the prompts which you give, basically, but you can always make them to remember the prompts and the responses and respond accordingly. Okay, so for suppose if you wanted to just clear, you can slate. You can observe here, I'll just show you one. I can write clear my slate. This is a slate. Now you see what it tells us. Acknowledged. We are now on clear slate. No previous prompts or responses are considered. No context is carry forward. The next response will be based on only your next input. So it's very clear, right? So we have to just use clear slate. So that will help us to clear the context and then responses of the previous prompts. Now we can give a fresh prompts, right? Now, for suppose if I give tell a joke, Did I mention anything? What joke it is? What the context? Why did the database administrator break up with the spreadsheet? So you see how we can't laugh with this technical joke, right? Unresolved relationships and no normalizations, right? So now tell me a joke uh, from to uh, to what is it? Tell me a joke about Shakespeare. Now you can see why did Shakespeare always write in pen? Because pencil confused him. Okay, so that's okay, fine, right? So now I wanted it to consider the both. Consider previous two prompts and responses. Crack a joke. So ignore typo mistakes, right? All right. Combining DBMS and Shakespeare. Why did Shakespeare fail his DBMS exam? Because every time the professor asked about normalization, he replied. Okay. So to 2NF or not to 2NF? That is the question, right? So now you see. Now clear the slate. Now, if I ask it to now it's thinking is a light meta joke that fits the situation. Now you see, have it considered because this slate was cleared so perfectly that even the joke forgot its own setup. Full normalization achieved, no residual dependencies left. Now, so this is how it's important. For suppose if I have hundreds of the prompts and then changes because it's iterative process sometimes, then how do you handle it? Okay, that's the biggest challenge. We'll address anyhow. So this actually I also build the complete model how you can converse with the chat gpt using your own application, but technically you also need a little bit of knowledge on it, but you can see here. Now you'll understand. Now you can see what I do is get response. Okay, I'm defining my own function called get response. Instead of response earlier, it's only one response, no? Now it is multiple response. I may be, right? Prompt model, the model which I defined at GPT-4o, the mini, that is the same. A role is user. Content is the prompt which I taken in the previous one. Prompt is the which I defined. So the response which I am defining here. Now you can see the messages is nothing but it's a JSON file which have a key value pairs, multiple keys and then multiple values that will be considered as the different, like a role, context, tone, this kind of things. Okay, so write a blog post on decision tree for suppose. This is the prompt. Now I am just passing this prompt. Now what is the output I got? I got some response. This is the response which I am printing. I got a completely a response, okay, about the decision tree. And now you observe carefully. Now prompt is write a short blog post on decision tree limiting to 100 words. Earlier I did not mention 100 words. This is the boundary. Okay, this is a boundary or constraint. Now you observe. Okay, so now words only consider. Now what I'm doing is I'm just mentioning 200 words, right, in data structures. Now you can see. So like that, the many prompts can be simply changed and then used. Just a moment. Now you can see conversation. I have prompt one whose output is this one. I got the output. I am taking that output into this one. Okay, first prompt output. I'll pass both of them as prompts. Now you can see message. First one is the role as a user. Content is the first prompt. So first prompt which I gave, that I just passed it as a content for the first role as a user. Second one, you see assistant means now the system, right, role. So instead of treating the user is giving a prompt, this time role is assistant, the system as an assistant which takes the of the first prompt as a prompt second time. Okay, and then third, user takes the response, gives the second prompt. Now I have a second prompt, right? Include 10 FAQs for the above blog post. First one is generate a blog post in 100 words. I got some 100 words that I am taking as a first prompt output. I am giving that as a another prompt. But whereas the role is assistant, now you observe the only the change. So if we give the user is role is a user. If it's a machine, because the response is given by the LLM, right? So I am considering it as an assistant or a system. You can also call it as a system. But there is a difference. I'll tell you. Now, second prompt I am giving. Now, what happened, so it will remember. It remembers the first prompt and its output, response, and then second prompt. Now, you see, by considering first prompt, it's a response and second prompt output. Now, I got the second prompt output. So, this is the combination of the both. See, if you wanted to continuously keep growing, giving so many, now you can see. First, I wrote a prompt. System gave a response. That response is taken as a prompt and the role is mentioned as assistant. Second, I gave an additional prompt because sometimes what happened, we ask a question, we felt it is not sufficient. We add one more prompt, but we don't want to lose the previous one, right? And then we got a response and still we are not satisfied. We wanted to give one more prompt, but still it is supposed to consider the previous 1-2 prompt. So like that, you can keep growing any number. But the problem is how length you will go like this. This is not sufficient. Okay, so that's what you have so many techniques to address all of these, right? So that's how you will make your conversion. What are the key elements? So now you see, be specific and clear, right? When you are writing a prompt, you have to be very specific and clear, and then provide rich context, and you have to be structured formats. Like you have to mention what it is. It's a table or bullet points or what it is. Okay, you have to include examples so that it follow the similar patterns, right? Now, these are tone and format. Excuse me. We have to mind these important components when you are writing the. You need not to mention a role, but you have to write a role like, okay, as a professor of computer science, prepare a question paper for DBMS, right, for second year BTech students, okay, and provide in a tabular format. So like that. Now role, I just mentioned, role is a professor, context is a BTech graduation, task is to generate the question paper, tone is academic tone, right, format is a tabular format. These things you need not to mention these terminology, but you have to mind them. Now you can see these are very, very important. When I say task, what to do, you have to mention what to do. You need not to structure it again. Don't worry, you need not to structure them. While writing only, you have to mind these concepts supposed to be there in our prompt. Okay, context, background information. Excuse me. Sorry. So role, whom the model should act as a system, as a professor, as a student or as a evaluator. Now as a resource person, I asked my LLM to generate, I mean to prepare content for prompt engineering for educators as a resource person to deliver 90 minutes session. That's how I build my prompt. Okay, so scope and constraints, I already told you, know, sometimes you need to tell what not to do. Okay, or limitations, boundaries, how many words, right, how many characters, or you have to say sometimes not to be biased, gender biased or area biased, region biased, like that. So you have to be very cautious. And output format also you have to tell, learning outcomes and evaluation criteria, which we have seen. Okay, I already told once the evaluation criteria also we have seen examples and few short guidance, and pedagogical and reasoning strategy that we have seen in the previous example. They will help us to guide how the model should reason. Tools and technology specifications mention software or platform to be used. Excuse me, I'm suffering from cold, so please bear with me. Right, thank you. So tone and depth, they specify the complexity and then style. Okay, so constraints on safety and ethics and iteration and then refinement class, which allows the improvement, okay, improvement cycles. So these are very, very important. But among all of these, what are very important? Role, context, task, tone, and format. These five, okay, are very, very important. Now let's come to in context learning. You see, anyhow, I'll share this paper with you. This speaks about completely in short learning. All right, I'll just leave this as a self reading. Those who are interested, you can go through it. Okay, so in context learning, right? So learning is happening through the context. There is no gradient update. See, gradient update because we are not training it. Okay, there is no gradient update and difference updations, and there is no retraining concept, right? I already told you what are the pros. You need not worry about the company, everything. Right, now let us see a small example. Example is translate English to French. So this is the task. Now the examples I gave is sea otter, which is otter de mer. So peppermint, menthe brewery, and plus grain. These French words. Now, when I give a cheese, my prompt, it gave me omega. So these are the outputs. See, as I told you, is one of the application kind. Now you see in context, within the given context only, it gave me the response. Now the most important and lastly, but very, very important, the entire your prompt engineering depends upon one more is application. I mean, one more is application. I mean, examples, right? In examples, right? In zero shot, so you'll be giving only task. Zero shot, so you'll be giving only task. The model is given, you are giving to the model, okay, with only the task. You don't provide any example. Then it relies entirely on the model pre-trained knowledge. Then what it follow? It follow the way it trained, because you are only asking, you are not giving any details, just asking. Then how it is trained related to this prompt, then it respond accordingly. Okay, it will not curate. So generally this kind of zero shot prompting, very novice, okay, are basic level users for simple explanations. Okay, but you are also expert, you know it how to grasp your things from the written values. So then written responses, so well-known concepts, quick responses. Then what are the characteristics? Fast and concise, because you are not putting any burden to exercise, right? So fast and concise. Output quality depends on prompt you I mean prompt clarity. The way you give a prompt, it depends. And then may vary in depth or structure. So these are the characteristics of the zero shot prompt. And then expected outcomes from the zero shot prompts when you give only the task is general explanation, because I did not mention anything else except the task. Okay, what we expect is only definitions, examples kind of thing. If you see, which I already did one, I'll show you. So unable to converge because it's changed. Okay, let me go back. The reason why I did all these things, because it remembers, because I logged into them and then trying to pass. No, I have to call it a clear slate. Otherwise, what happened? It also relies on the previous prompts and responses. Now, explain normalization in DBMS and describe. Now you can see. Now, because did I mention an example here? No, I directly gave a task. What is the task? Explain normalization. Right? Context is there. That's all. No example, nothing is given. So it gave what? Now you can see it gave a definition. It gave definitions, general explanation, and also gave basic examples. So now you can see it gave a example. That's it. All right. This is what is zero shot prompt. When you go to one shot prompt, it's a task, and also you'll give one example, right? So that it will follow the example pattern. The model is given one example along with the task to guide the response. Okay, so improves the structure and consistency. When you use this kind of a one-shot prompt, and a specific style or depth is required. Academic explanations generally this kind of example. Okay, consistent formatting and characteristics are better structured output, consistent explanation styles, less ambiguity than zero shot, because zero shot is very vague, right? So what are the expected outcomes of this concept? Clear definitions, uniform examples. So now you see previous one we don't have. Okay, if you go to previous one we have only basic examples, but here we have a uniform examples. Okay, predictable formats which follows the example format, and asking it to do many tasks. Now you can observe. Earlier we got only basic explanation. Now we got a structure, definitions, and examples, concept wise. Okay, so one example I gave here. Whatever the example I gave, the same format it exactly follow. Now you can see, right? This is how it works. Now few shot. Now, I mean, more than one example if you give along with the task, that is what is called few shot prompt. So the model is given multiple examples, a strong guidance on reasoning, depth and structure. Usually we use this kind of things when things are very complex. I mean, our requirements are having complex topics and teaching assessment design. This is useful for us, not only for us, those who wanted to be very focused, then most of them will use only few short prompts, but only basic novice users will use zero shot and one shot prompts. Okay, so now you can see it's a fast and concise because you have made everything clear, right? And expected outcomes are general explanation, of course. Definition, no, I think I've not changed this. I'm sorry. So expected outcomes are very precise. Okay, very precise. Now you can see the difference, then you will understand. Clear slate. If I don't clear what happened, it also depends upon previous prompt. Then that may affect my prompt, because I gave more than one example. Okay, right? Yeah. Sometimes the results are same, right? No worries. So these are as simple as like this: zero shot, one shot, and few shot prompts. And then see, Microsoft have tested this one shot, I mean zero shot, one shot, and few shot on medical question answering LLM. So when they use a zero shot, they're given 81.7 I mean accuracy, percentage of accuracy. And then random few shot is a more than the few shot, gave the Microsoft 83.9 percentage of accuracy, and it even be much bigger nowadays, right? And then one shot is lies in between 82 to 83 in between, but these are not accurate. So these may vary, depends upon the applications and then the evaluations of the applications, right? So strategies, these will change. You can make your own frameworks. Okay, you need not to exactly remember, but I gave a components. No, you can pick which components will suit to build the prompts for your required responses. Out of them you can pull, and then you can build your own frameworks. So practical frameworks to guide your prompt writing. Okay, these basically these three are proven frameworks, provide a structure for creating consistently effective prompts. Choosing the one that fits your workflow. You may build your own framework. There is no mandate that you only have to follow this. You can build your own, but these are easy to remember and then follow, which are already proven. So particularly for the academicians, so the you have to ensure the purpose, audience, context, and examples are given in your prompt, so that your responses will be more target oriented. Then okay, so if you make your prompt is unambiguous, okay, and relevant, actionable, and clear, with a clear objectives and a time appropriate scope, then so it's a kind of different strategy, or the I mean framework that you can follow. So of course it's an iterative. Sometimes, most of the times, it is iterative. If the prompts are of kind iterative and then you need to repeat and then refine, then you can follow the LARF framework, so which will have the loop, assess, refine, feedback. Of course you can use all of them. Okay, first you can follow this, right? These frameworks help educators to design prompts that consistently generate high quality and classroom ready AI responses. Yeah. So classroom applications and real use cases, lesson plans. You can generate the lesson plans, align materials, unit plans, interactive activities. Okay, uh, differentiated resources that meet diverse learning standards and student needs. Okay, you can just see that. So personalized learning, you can make it, and administrative efficiency and student engagement, one of the important aspect in classroom engagement. So design interactive quizzes, educational games, creative writing prompts. So these are all anyhow we do in our day-to-day teaching learning practices, but these are the real use cases that we can uh, follow to make our teaching learning more effective and impactful. Yes. So far we have seen what is what, and then what to do, then how to do, but what not to do. That's very, very important. So what not to do is also very, very important. Uh, See, when you are building your prompts, so you have to also see avoiding common pitfalls and the ethical considerations, which sorry, watch for ambiguity when you are writing. Are there is any ambiguity or confusion? uh, prevailed in the prompt that you build, you have to ensure there is no ambiguity. Otherwise, your LLM may misunderstand, right? So that's very important. Test your prompts and refine them based on the results. When you give a prompt, you'll get some results, no? Then you have to immediately then take a step to resolve the ambiguity and then make it very specific. So then monitor for bias is also one of the very important ethical consideration. Okay, AI can uh, perpetuate the stereotypes or present culturally insensitive content. Always review outputs through an equity lens before sharing with students. That's very, very, very important because people will offend. Okay, if you generate the content and if I take an example and then give some bad example on some religion, some gender, some caste or some region, then that affects the emotions. Okay, you have to be very cautious while you are writing the prompts, and you have to be unbiased. Test them. Okay, keep human in loop. That's very, very important. If you make a machine to do everything, you'll miss the purpose. So never use AI generated material without review. That's what nowadays people are just generating everything and then throwing it. So that's not good practice. And our professional judgment, pedagogical expertise, and knowledge of students remains essential. That's what the human must be in loop. You have to take feedback from students and then also yourself so that it will be intact. Okay, human values. So maintain transparency. See, the transparency, there are a lot of things behind transparency, right? So unless you know how model is built, then it's very difficult to maintain the transparency. Okay, so we also heard so many stories in US elections. They build the LLM models that biased the entire election, and someone have come to power. I don't want to name anything, right? So you can just go and then check in the web, you'll get all the stories. So when you don't see, that is the reason why it's as simple as when you buy a product, as a food product or any product, you'll get a labels. Okay, so you'll get all the details on it. For suppose if it's a food product, what are the ingredients, what is the procedure, the compositions, everything is written. That makes a transparency. Similarly, when models are built, what data set is used, okay, what things are followed while building the models, okay, and based upon that, when you are building prompts also, you have to be unbiased and more transparent. What are the considerations? See, what are the factors, what are the components that you have used, and their values are very, very important. Now, prompts to support in preparing teaching materials. This is another example I just gave you as an example. So now you can see my prompt is very big. Okay, it's a few short prompt. Now you can see, right, a role I have mentioned, right? I have defined the output type, and I also mentioned who are the audience and which level of the prompt it is, right? And format also mentioned, and I also mentioned the pedagogical details, isn't it? Now this is the way how we need to prepare our prompts for our day-to-day lecture notes and then material, right? So which helps us to prepare teaching material, both the lecture notes and then PPTs. Okay, so it's very detailed and structured. You can observe structured everything I have mentioned. Don't worry about the size. Okay, don't worry about the size initially. You practice it, you'll understand definitely the better way to write the prompts. And so far we have seen only the text, but of course code is also text. Okay, code generation prompts, because nowadays I use GitHub Copilot and then Cursor to generate, and to build an application is very easy now nowadays. Okay, earlier days is, but you need to know at least the concepts and then for editing and then customization. So code, problem statement, you have to ensure these are there in your prompt. Earlier components I told, but they are for generally text. But when you come to particularly the code, so you have to be very cautious with programming language. Write a program for sorting or quick sort using C language. You have to be very specific. Programming language you haven't mentioned. Problem statement. I just gave sorting. Okay, input output format. I also mentioned sorting is ascending or descending, whatever it may be. You can constraints the values between up to 100. Okay, so constraints, coding style expectations. I can also ask it to give the comments to every line, right? So environment, you can also tell which tool it is, okay, which software tool you are going to use, so that it can also mind the setups to run. See, the same code running in turbo and edit plus is different, right? So little bit of changes will be there. Okay, those things also will be taken care when you are following these particular components are used consider while you build the
Professor,
prompts for code
sorry
generation.
to disturb,
Yeah,
Professor. Many of the participants left from the meeting. I think this is the right time to. I
yeah.
will take
Well, I have
two
only
more
one.
minutes, please.
I have only two
Yeah, yeah.
slides left.
Please, Professor, please.
Yeah. So yeah. So now you can see common mistakes we do in coding. Write a program for sorting, but you have to mention write a program to sort integers using quicksort with the explanation. Is a good way of writing the prompt. Okay, and tools and resources. Anyhow, nowadays everybody is well of these techniques and then using the tools, right? One success story I would like to share, but this is only a case study, and then that's enough. But at the end, before I conclude, I recommend you to continue to learn the prompt engineering to excel and then save a lot of time and then improve your teaching, learning, and the research. Because I also have slides for the research and another part, but I understand. So this time is very limited, and then it's a peak hours after working day long, right? And then so you can start very small, apply frameworks what I explained, and then join communities who share the knowledge. And see, mastering prompt engineering is your gateway to future ready classroom, no doubt. And I say is not replacing teachers. And once again, I'm telling you, teachers who use AI with will replace those who don't use the AI. So with this, I thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity to share the knowledge, and congratulate all the participants for your patient listening and then making this session more live and interactive. So here is my LinkedIn uh, QR code available. You can follow. You can reach out to me through chat.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your wonderful explanation about the prompt engineering, especially for the educators. I especially liked your wonderful quote. AI definitely will not replace the teacher. Teachers who use AI will replace those who don't. It is a beautiful quote. I admired. It was truly inspiring and thought-provoking, Professor. After attending your session, we now understand how to use the ChatGPT very effective manner for formal questions and answer purpose to providing and precise the correct keywords, which help to obtaining the accurate answer without wasting time. So that are I take away from your lecture, sir. Definitely,
Because professor,
uh,
because of only prompt engineering in industry
yes,
particularly, most of the coding jobs are gone. So one can
yes,
learn the prompt engineering, better coding, okay,
yes,
prompts,
Professor.
and then
After
review the
attending
code.
the after attending your session only, we came to know that it provides a great for our community's education and effective applications. All those things I we used to learn so many new things from you, Professor. Really, really helpful for all the educators. Nothing doubt about that. Thank you once again. Thank you so much for joining with us and giving a wonderful session to all our participants. More than 300 participants have to register
Thank
for this FTP. I
thank you, sir.
really
Very nice
enjoy.
session.
Welcome, madam.
Sir, thank you, sir. It's a very nice and informative session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. If you have any doubt, mail or uh,
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
can you tell me
Sure.
the mail ID, sir?
It's krkrishna.csc. Or you can also WhatsApp me if you have any requirements in this. But please WhatsApp me before making any calls.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I just
Thank you.
left
Thank
my
you very much.
details in chat.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Very nice, sir.
Uh, can I take a leave now or yeah? Thank you. If any one or two feedbacks from the participants would be more uh, helpful for me to improvise.
Actually, it's a very informative session, sir. So far, I have not heard about all the things.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, if it is physical program, I can make the day or 2 days program
Yeah,
completely.
yeah, sir. Actually, I want you to share for our college also. I invite you to give some lecture. Is it possible, sir?
Yes, madam. I usually
Attended so many lectures, but they have given just they didn't give some such information. Just they tell the what's a prompt like that.
thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, if you permit, I'll leave. Thank you, madam. Thank you.